Hi, I'm Thelma of Seasonal Crafts and Creations. Welcome to my channel, and welcome if you're new. Today I have for you several fun and easy crafts to do, and so without further ado, let's get to crafting. Let me adjust my lens so you can see. Okay, the first DIY I'm going to show you, go ahead and take the little hanging ribbon off and get you some ribbon that says the elves made me do it. This came from Dollar General, and then this came from the Dollar Tree. It's the same thing. The elves made me do it. Now make you a little bow. Measure it out. That's about good. Now get you some of the elf, the little one, and let's cut some off here. All you do is do a little tie. It can be tricky getting it through the hole there, but now you just adjust it to the length that you want. And make sure it's that the front side is out and the other one, and do the same for the little tails here. Twist them around until you can see the front, and make sure you have them the same length on each side. Now let's tighten it up. Start over on this one because you got to make sure your bow is tight. And that it's the right size too. Now, while you're pulling on the tail, hold on to the middle of the bow. Okay, now let's go ahead and trim the little tails. Just fold them over and cut up like that. And do the same for over here. Here's your little bow. Now on this one, you will need some a Chanel stem. Make sure you get this right in the center. And how you do that is bring it up, and as you can see, it's centered. So let's twist it about 3 or 4 times to do it. Cut it off close. And make sure you have another piece cut out and the tail's already cut, and just take it and twist your ribbon to where both ends are facing you. Now, take some glue, put your tail on first, put a little bit of glue right there to make sure it stays positioned the way you want it. Now, let's put the bow on. Now get your little bitty bow, your shoelace bow I call them. Okay. Now, let's set this aside and let it dry. Okay, for the rest of this sign, you will need one of these signs or the Christmas one, Halloween, it doesn't matter. Some white paint and 4 of those little Django blocks, and just put your paint right on the little sign thing here. You will probably need about 2 to 3 coats on this. And you'll need to paint these too. And once we get this painted, we'll set it aside, work on some other projects, and while it's drying, okay, now that we're over here on the last side I meant, we'll put it over to let it dry while we're working on those other projects I just mentioned. And we need to paint these, what I was getting ready to say, we need to paint these little blocks too. Sometimes I just put the paint right on the paintbrush when it's something small. And you don't have to paint 2 of the sides, just the ones that are going to be showing. But make sure you get the ends there. And our next project is this little red truck. I'm going to put a little Christmas tree in the back and some berries. And what it is, it came 3 in a pack for less than $3, which is a good deal. And, okay, he left. I'm sorry about that. So all you do is snip off this came from a Christmas house from the village. And you just twist and break off this little tree stump. Put you some glue on one side after you bend it, push it down some. And I'm going to do all 3 of mine like that, but I figured just showing you one will be enough. And then I'm going to get some little red berries, a few of them. And just put them on wherever you feel like your tree needs it. I'm not going to put a lot. careful not to burn your fingers. I forgot to put my finger guards on again. This is what it looks like. And you just set that aside, let it dry. And our next project is take one of these flower planters that you get normally in the seasonal section around springtime at the Dollar Tree. This is something I already used, so I couldn't get all the Spanish moss off, so I just push it aside. Now I'm using what I have on hand. Take that, and then you will need one of these yard signs from the Dollar Tree, and just cut the ends off, or cut it on each side. That way you can break it just like that. Now you also need two of these. I have one green and white scarves and one red and white. And you will need some of the snow. You can get the ones from the Dollar Tree, or this is something that I had left over. Now just lay it on top and cut around. Don't go all the way to it, because then it'll be too short. Just cut around it. Okay, now take it and just push it down in there. I didn't see that part. Just push it down in there to where it's going in between the where it's going all around in the corners is what I meant to say. So now set this where you want it to go. Just play around with it at first. Let me go ahead and take the tag off this one. Take the little where you hang it up at, cut them off. Now, and do the same for the snowman. Now just play around with it where you want it to go. I think I'm going to let mine go like that, so he's going to go right there. Take your scissors and just cut the snow. And just push it down in there. Okay, now, so you're not putting glue on your little snowman, just take some, these are those sticks that came from off them eggs that you get at Easter. Don't need a long stick. Just measure them off around the same size. Now stick it in the bottom. And then stick it right in there. And do the same for the other little snowman. And if you have any little trees or anything you want to, that was a little bit hard getting in, want to put around, you can. But I think it looks good just the way it is. And just make sure they're stuck in there. Let me stick this down in there and then put it in the bottom of the snowman. So if you have any trouble doing that way, just do it that way. Because it's not going to go in. There we go. And here's this one. Look at that little snowman family. Alright, let me set this aside. Now the next project we have is this picture frame. It's a 5x7. It came from the Dollar Tree. Okay, first you will need, I went ahead and took the glass out and everything, but you will need some of this diamond wrap. You can use any color you want. And what you do, first you measure it and cut it off. And you do both sides like that. Okay, leave that one there. That'll give you something to go by when you're cutting the top and the bottom. Okay. And do the same for the bottom. Just use what you just cut for the top, and it makes it easier to make sure you get a accurate length. And you will need, I went to Pinterest.com and I printed out this one, and it's free to print them out. Okay. Make sure your glue gun and glue sticks are ready. Just put you a little bit of glue. You don't need a lot. And this just glams up your whole little picture frame. Be careful, they're hot. That glue is. Okay. And be fast about it, because it does dry fast. Now, if you could get a picture frame that has a smooth surface to it, that would be better. But I didn't see any when I went and picked this up. But it will work. The one that dents in like this. I think these are just so pretty to have pictures without going and paying an arm and a leg for them. You can just buy a picture frame for $1 from the Dollar Tree, whether it's a 5x7, 8x10, or that larger size 11 by, I can't remember what that size is. And you can have all different kinds of pictures without spending a large amount of money for it. And then the frames can be used over and over again. So let that dry. Get your glass out. And let's see. Get your pencil after you even it up where you want it to be. That way you'll have an accurate size. Couldn't find my pen. I leave something laying around anymore with these little baby kittens. And it's gone. It's a play toy. Now just cut your picture out. Make sure you fall in the line. And look what pretty pictures these they make. The bright colors. It's real pretty. I really enjoy doing my crafts. It's relaxing and it's just fun. Okay, get your frame. Put your glass back in it. Put your picture that you just cut out in it. Looks like I'm going to have to trim it down just a little bit. Okay, there. Now, I just always use this here. And I always double check and make sure, yes, that it's in the right, you know, the up is up on the picture. And this is the finished project. Okay, now on this one, I got the wrong one. Now on this one, it's oval. I already took the back off. And I always just leave these in here to give it, to help make it tighter. I'm going to even this out so I can recut it to position it. Okay, I couldn't get the screw out of this one. So we're going to use one of these picture frames that you've seen me use several times in the past. And all you do is, now if you don't have a printer, you can always go to your local library, and I think if your library is like mine, your first 10 pages are free, and then after that, each colored page is $0.25, and each black and white is $0.10. That's per day too. Now what you do is the same thing. You line up your picture the way you want it on each side, and I just made it flush here, and just trace it out. Now I don't put bows or anything on my, unless I buy them, but on my real good picture frames like this that are gold trim and kind of have that Victorian look to them, I don't glue anything on them or paint them, because they were gave to me, and well, they have a sentimental value, so I just keep them the way they are, these gold ones. And I'll get that screw out of that oval picture frame, and I'll include that one, how you can make a real pretty. I did paint that one white, the frame, and then I used some burnt umber. Both come from Walmart for 50 cents a bottle, and it gives it that stained look without having to have the wax. Okay, let me get everything back up here. Okay, now slide the glass back in. Put my new picture right on top. These really do need the extra sheets that I put in, because it's real loose, so it needs all the extra ones that I can put in to hold them in place. Let me make sure. Okay. But I am looking for more picture frames at yard sales and flea markets and online. There's what that one looks like. Let me just there. Online, so I can do more projects like this for you all. Okay, I want to check that and see if the what we painted earlier is finished, if it's dried. Okay, it's dried, and now let's just get the elf sign, or any sign that you have. It's better if it's flat on the bottom though. And what we do is center it on each side. Get you some glue on it. Make sure this is straight, standing straight up. Now, go ahead and put you some glue on the other one. And hold it for a second. Make sure these are all even. You gotta push with it too. If you get any glue extra down here, just pick it off. And just make sure it's dry. Now this one I'm putting in the center right here. I just think these are so pretty, these signs on these little wooden platforms. Now push. This extra one in the center on top, I give it that extra security so it stands up straight. Woo! And that's what I mean. You gotta, now we just gotta put more glue. More glue on it and push it down. It might take a minute or two, but it's worth it. Okay. Now I have this little greenery. It came from an old wreath that I had. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this around so you can see it. I'm going to glue one on each side. Get some berries. So what kind of berries they have. Okay. Anyway, we can trim these little berries off. You only need 2 of them. And let's see if we have any more greenery in here. I do. I have some greenery. So first we'll start by gluing down the green. Get this bigger one. Just put a fair amount of glue. Now let's get some berries. Just seeing if any's coming off before I go to work with it. Put them here in the corner. And do the same with this side. And this is it for today's DIYs. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any future upload videos that I do. I do hauls too, from the Dollar Tree, Goodwill, the Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Walmart, and sometimes Target, Dollar Spot. Okay, and this is what this looks like when it's finished. So I want to thank you all for stopping by and checking out my channel today. I hope you all have a safe and happy day. Until next time.